A few months ago, I built a Porsche in 3D. Then I thought, why not making other cars, but by myself, like inventing the whole car? I don't feel like this is a real challenge, because making the outside is pretty easy. Yes, you do need some inspiration, but that's it. I want a challenge. I want to see big. So I decided to make this car, but all by myself, with every little part a car has, like the engine, the transmission, the gearbox, the wheels, and every part you can think of. I started by making the engine. But how to make an engine? I don't even know how it works. So I went on YouTube and I looked for some tutorials, but none of them really explained how to easily design an engine. So I watched how an engine works, and then I started by making one piston. As you can see, this piston works, but no counterweights or not even something around it. I want to make a racing car, like supercar. A supercar doesn't use V4 like straight engines. It uses V-shaped engines like V8 or V16. So I need to make this piston dual. I took my piston, I duplicated it, and with the bones I already made for it to work. So with this dual piston, I had a beginning of an engine. But that's not an engine yet. I chose to duplicate it and to add counterweights to make a V8. This was not straightforward, this was not easy, but I finally got my engine working. And now I have a V8. It's time to add the inputs, all the valves that open to let the mixture of fuel and air in and to let the gases out. I added those. If I just animate that manually, it's cheating because it means that my engine is not working. So I wrote like one line in Python, in Blender, of course, you can do that, to make my motor turns at a certain speed in RPMs. And then I put my camshafts to spin at half this speed, because for every 2 rotations of a piston, you have only one opening of each valve. It's pretty simple math. So with that in mind, I got my engine working automatically. I put you some extracts of it running at 6000 RPM. It's a pretty normal speed for an engine, at least on supercars. I can show you how it works slowly because of course it's easier to understand. You can see the valve's blue opening, the air gets in, the piston rotates, and the air gets out with the red valve. At least my engine seems to work. I linked up all of this with some chains and I put some casing around it. So yes, the casing is not great because there is no oil flowing inside, so the engine is not even cooling, so it means if we make it run in real life it will explode in about 1 minute or even less, but at least we have a bit of an impression of how my engine would look like. Now that my visual engine is done, I will make another video on how I made this, but in Fusion 360. Fusion 360 is a CAD software. Technically, if I make my engine in that, it will be able to work in real life. I will have to run a lot of tests to prove that my engine can work and which speed it will work and what power it will deliver. Like and subscribe if you want to see how I will make an entire hypercar in 3D and how I will test it in video games and other softwares.